Claudio Ranieri took charge of Leicester City in the summer of 2015, the football world didn't flinch. Most experts laughed. Leicester had barely avoided relegation the season before. Their best players were unknown outside England. Their manager had just been sacked by Greece after losing to the Faroe Islands. Nobody, not even the most optimistic fan, could have predicted that this team, built on a modest budget and led by a calm Italian veteran, was about to deliver the most unthinkable fairy tale in modern sports, winning the Premier League. If you love incredible football stories that defy all logic, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us for more unbelievable underdog tales. Now, let's dive into how Claudio Ranieri's Leicester City made football history. Chapter 1. The most unlikely beginning. Leicester City's survival in the 2014-15 season was already something of a miracle. Under Nigel Pearson, they won 7 of their last 9 games to escape relegation by the skin of their teeth. That summer, the club's Thai owners, King Power, decided to part ways with Pearson and appointed Claudio Ranieri, an experienced yet often underestimated manager whose career had been defined by near misses and short stints at big clubs. The appointment was met with skepticism. Even Leicester fans weren't sure. The bookmakers gave them 5,000 to 1 odds to win the Premier League, the same odds you'd get for discovering Elvis alive on Mars. But behind the jokes and disbelief, Ranieri quietly started building something extraordinary. Chapter 2. Quiet reinforcements, big belief. Ranieri didn't arrive with a revolution. He didn't need to. He inherited a hard-working squad full of players with chips on their shoulders. Jamie Vardy, a striker who once worked part-time in a factory. Riyad Mahrez, a thin Algerian winger plucked from the French 2nd Division. N'Golo Kanté, a tiny midfielder signed from Caen for £5.6 million. And a defense built around no-nonsense veterans Wes Morgan, Robert Huth, and Christian Fuchs. While other teams spent tens of millions on superstars, Ranieri focused on mentality. He treated the players like family, using humor and warmth instead of strict discipline. When the team kept a clean sheet, he'd buy everyone pizza and play Andrea Bocelli's music in the dressing room. Dilly ding, dilly dong, he'd shout to keep their spirits up, a silly phrase that became Leicester's anthem for joy. Chapter 3. A dream start nobody took seriously. Leicester opened the season with a 4-2 win over Sunderland. Then they beat West Ham, then drew away at Bournemouth. Within a month, pundits began using the word momentum. By Christmas, the word had changed to miracle. The Foxes were not only surviving, they were thriving. They weren't just a feel-good story. They were top of the Premier League alongside football powerhouses like Manchester City and Arsenal. Ranieri's system wasn't complicated, but it was brutally effective. A compact 4-4-2 designed for quick transitions. Defend with 10, attack with 4. The midfield duo of Kanté and Danny Drinkwater recovered every ball like magnets. Mahrez twisted defenders inside out, and Jamie Vardy, once a non-league player, was rewriting record books, scoring in 11 consecutive Premier League matches. Leicester City had turned counterattacks into art. Chapter 4. The Vardy Party and Mahrez Magic. It wasn't just the results that made Leicester captivating, it was how they played. Fearless, fast, and free. Every time they stepped on the pitch, it felt like a Hollywood script. Vardy's pace terrified defenses. Mahrez's dribbling produced pure chaos. Against Manchester United, Mahrez humiliated defenders for fun. Against Chelsea, he curled in screamers from impossible angles. By mid-season, Leicester's rise stopped being a cute story. They were leading the league at Christmas, and Ranieri's grin started to look less like naivety and more like quiet genius. The Italian, who was mocked for his soft approach, had created a team of warriors who gave everything for each other. When asked about their goal, he laughed and said, "We just want 40 points. The number usually needed to avoid relegation. By February, they already had that. Chapter 5. Breaking the Elite. The 2015-16 season was supposed to be a battle between City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and United. Instead, Leicester dismantled them all. City couldn't handle their pace on the break. Arsenal were beaten for intensity. Tottenham, their closest challengers, were outlasted through sheer grit. One by one, the Giants fell, and Ranieri's Foxes kept marching. Leicester weren't just lucky. Their numbers told a story of control and purpose. They defended deep, broke fast, countered with precision. Ranieri didn't need 70% 100% possession. He needed just 10 seconds to score from one end to the other. Conte would win the ball, Drinkwater would lob it forward, Mahrez would glide past a defender, and Vardy would blast it home. It was simple football perfected. Chapter 6, the turning point. Every fairy tale has a moment when everyone starts to believe. For Leicester, it came away at Manchester City in February 2016. Pundits said this would be the day reality hit. Instead, it was the day the dream became real. Robert Huth scored twice, Mahrez danced through a wall of defenders to score, and Leicester destroyed City 3-1 at the Etihad. Pep Guardiola, then at Bayern, reportedly said after watching, "This team understands football perfectly." From that day, Leicester's players stopped looking like upstarts and started looking like champions. They held their nerve. They played every game as if it were their last. Ranieri kept them grounded, reminding them to focus, and occasionally promising pizza parties as motivation. Chapter 7, Ranieri's genius and simplicity. Ranieri's management worked because he didn't try to be a philosopher. He didn't force a system that didn't fit his players. Instead, he looked at what they were good at: athleticism, counterattacks, team spirit, and built everything around that. He rotated sparingly to keep stability. He joked with the media. He shielded his players from pressure. "I am the Tinkerman no more," he once said, referencing his reputation from Chelsea days. "Now I am the Thinker Man." What made him special was how human he was. When asked if he believed they could win the league, he smiled softly and said, "Let me dream, please, let me dream." And the world dreamed with him. Chapter 8, Holding the Line. As winter turned to spring, Leicester's lead grew thinner, but their composure never wavered. Every week seemed like the one where the fairy tale would end, but every week they proved everyone wrong. They beat Newcastle with a stunning bicycle kick from Shinji Okazaki. They edged Southampton, held Manchester United, and ground out result after result. Meanwhile, the Giants stumbled. Arsenal imploded. Chelsea collapsed completely. City were distracted by Europe. Tottenham's youth faltered under pressure. Suddenly, Leicester had a real shot at glory. Only 4 more wins were needed to complete the most incredible campaign English football had ever seen. Chapter 9, the night of the miracle. On May 2nd, 2016, Leicester's players weren't even on the pitch when history was made. Tottenham faced Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, a fiery London derby that would decide it all. If Tottenham dropped points, Leicester would be champions. At Jamie Vardy's house, the entire team gathered to watch. They cheered as Chelsea equalized. They screamed as Eden Hazard curled in the goal that made it 2-2. Then, the whistle blew. Tottenham 2, Chelsea 2. The impossible had happened. Leicester City, the team that cost less than Paul Pogba's left leg, were Premier League champions. Vardy's living room exploded. Ranieri, watching from home in Italy after visiting his mother, wept. The quiet man who'd been written off as past his prime had just completed football's greatest miracle. Chapter 10, the Parade of Legends. A week later, the King Power Stadium was overflowing. Bocelli sung Nessun Dorma as Ranieri stood beside him, eyes full of tears. Blue and white flags painted the sky. It wasn't just a trophy, it was a reminder that dreams, no matter how absurd, can come true if belief is strong enough. Leicester lifted the Premier League trophy with 81 points, 10 clear of Arsenal and 15 ahead of Manchester City. Vardy ended the season with 24 goals, Mahrez became PFA Player of the Year, and Conte, ever humble, quietly left for Chelsea, where he'd win another title and a Champions League. But Leicester's glory could never be replicated because it belonged to a single moment in time. Chapter 11, Why Leicester's Triumph Changed Football Forever. Leicester didn't just win a trophy, they altered the entire football landscape. They destroyed the myth that money alone decides success. For years, the top 4 had felt untouchable, but suddenly, every club dared to believe again. Even statistically, analysts still struggle to explain how it happened. Their budget ranked 17th out of 20, their wage bill was less than 20% of Manchester United's, yet they were fitter, hungrier, and emotionally unstoppable. Claudio Ranieri's secret wasn't tactics, it was trust. He believed in people when no one else did. He reminded Vardy he was dangerous. He turned Mahrez into a magician. He made Kante feel like a superhero. He made an entire city believe in miracles. After that season, Leicester inevitably fell back to earth. They remained competitive, even won the FA Cup in 2021, but nothing could equal that year. Because fairy tales are not meant to last forever, they're meant to be told forever. Chapter 12, The Legacy. Years later, fans still whisper about that season like it was a dream. Kids in Thailand wear Leicester shirts. In pubs around England, people shake their heads and smile when someone says 5,000 to 1. Ranieri, now beloved everywhere he goes, is remembered not just as a champion, but as a symbol of kindness, humility, and belief. His legacy is a reminder that football's heart isn't found in oil money or corporate sponsorships. It's found in courage, in unity, in laughter, and in the belief that anything can happen on a pitch of grass. Leicester's season wasn't just a fluke, it was proof that sometimes the universe rewards the purest form of passion. So the next time a small club dares to dream, remember, once upon a time, a gentle Italian walked into a club destined for relegation and said, "Come on boys, let's dream." And together, they conquered the world. If you loved reliving Leicester City's fairy tale and Ranieri's incredible triumph, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more legendary football stories, and watch our next deep dive right here. It's another unbelievable chapter from the beautiful game.